In this video net interview at IBC 2012, I'm speaking with John O'Brien, who's the CEO at S3 Group. Hello, John.
Hello, John. Nice to see you again.
Now, we know S3 Group's well known for sort of testing set-top boxes up front before they go into the field, but repair seems to be increasingly of interest to the operators as well. I mean, you've made an announcement here about Sky Italia now using you for repair as well. So just tell us what that announcement is.
Sure, yeah. Well, first of all, you're correct. We have, over the past, over a year ago, taken our initial storm test products, which were in the engineering departments of pay TV operators, and we took that technology and we set about solving the problems that occur in repair and screening centres. So we developed, if you want to call it, industrialized versions of our storm test engineering solutions that could be used in repair and refurbishment centres. And the problem there is similar. You need automated testing, but it's a different sort of use case. Okay. In other words, what you're doing is you really want to check that that set-top box that's been brought back to the repair centre behaves almost exactly the same as when it was put into the consumer's home. That's the problem you're trying to track. To go to your question on Sky Italia, yes, Sky Italia use a company called Teleplan for their service provider logistics, repair and refurbishment of set-top boxes, and Teleplan have now taken our storm test decision line in to do test automation on the set-top boxes. So they're using our systems for automated screening and testing of all the set-top boxes that will go through the supply chain in Sky Italia.
Okay, and when they come back again, if there's a problem in the home?
Well, correct. Actually, it's more when they come back, if you understand. So obviously Sky Italia deploy the boxes in the homes, and let's say to the general case, if these boxes are removed from the homes, they want to be efficiently screened, and they're done in repair centres, and that's where our storm test decision line will be working.
Okay, so it's your job to actually find what the problem was. I mean, the technician is told in the home what the problem is, and he has to bring it back.
Well, this now you're into an interesting, whole interesting area. So if we just leave any, none of the following is anything to do with the facts to do with Sky Italia as such, but generally what you find is, and this is a general industry statistic, is that if you send an engineer out to a consumer's home, generally speaking, in more than 50% of the cases, they swap the box, okay, which is an interesting statistic in itself. But what happens is when those boxes are brought to a repair centre, typically they're about 50% no fault found. So that's half the boxes there don't have anything wrong with them, right? And you can only find that if you've actually run them through the repair centre, okay? So our systems do that. So generally, what we're selling there is cost and automation efficiency. So we have seen use cases of our repair centre equipment where we have done almost 16 times the level of testing with about half the manpower. These are some of the statistics you get out of proper automated testing in a repair centre. And the second thing you see, which is not something that's first obvious, is yes, you can detect no fault founds in the repair centre, which is an economic problem, but almost a bigger problem is sometimes in non-automated repair and refurbishment centres, you get boxes coming back where there's something wrong with them. That problem isn't detected and that box goes back out to the field, and they're typically called loopers or toxic boxes, and you don't really want those going back out to a consumer. So our equipment is very carefully and automated, calibrated to stop that problem.
I was going to think, if you send somebody a faulty box back when they've just had one come, that's pretty much churn time, isn't it?
Exactly.
Okay, so it's about getting the boxes back out there quickly if they are okay.
Correct.
And then making sure the toxic ones do get caught.
Correct, and it's also about actually, because our machines, we do very extensive testing of the boxes in the repair centre. For the ones that are faulty, we can send very sophisticated diagnostic information to the person who's actually repairing them. So because we can identify, typically the test cycles may be anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, doing all sorts of tests, AV quality analysis, looking at the tuners, looking at the hard disk. While at a top level we say, yes, the box is green or red, so to speak. If it's red, we have a very sophisticated diagnostic information as to what's wrong with the box. So when it goes onto the repair line, it goes out there with an automated ticket from our equipment saying, this is what we found that was wrong with it, to try and quickly make the repair as efficient as possible.
Okay, and is it now obvious to all operators that these economies are there to be made? And
I think so, yeah. It depends. It's an interesting mix. It can depend on the local labour costs, because sometimes these things are done manually. So in different parts of the world, it plays out differently. I would say, though, as the products that are being deployed in consumers' homes gets more sophisticated, for instance, if you take, let's say, gateway type devices, they're more expensive, and they probably require, to determine whether they're good or bad in a repair center, it probably requires a more sophisticated process, which probably more lends itself to automation.
Okay.
So I think that's the way the trend is going to go.
Okay, and I know IBC, again, the theme this year is really multi-screen. And
yes.
I mean, we're talking about set-top boxes now. They're still
yes.
the heart of the TV service. But very quickly, you are also spending a lot of time now on multi-screen, aren't you? And
absolutely.
Just tell us in a minute what you do for multi-screen.
Sure. As you say, we first looked at the problem of automation in the whole area of set-top boxes, which is fine. And we sort of cracked that problem with our Storm Test Development Centre systems. And those systems are in use by almost 40 customers around the world. But very quickly, we knew from a customer demand and from where we saw the industry going, we had to crack the problem for multi-screen. So what we've done is our Storm Test product line does set-top boxes, it does tablet devices, and actually what we've launched is a connected TV solution. And so we can automate the testing of connected televisions, iPads, and set-top boxes. But more importantly, and this is actually the key problem, we can test the interaction between them in an automated manner. So you can imagine, I can test a set-top box as a single device, I can test an iPad as a single device, or a connected TV, which is fine, and that's a very valid thing to do. But increasingly, it's the interaction between these devices and the set-top box and the television that's actually the tricky piece. And that's where I mean, that's really where the explosion in complexity is happening. Not only do you have 4 or 5 different types of devices to receive your content on, over 4 or 5 different types of networks, but these devices all start to interact with each other. And we think they're, to deliver a quality service to consumers, a quality multi-screen service to consumers, you better do a lot of automated testing of those products and their interaction in advance. And that's what we're about. That's where the product is developing.
Great, okay, all right. Well, that'll keep you busy for a while as well.
It certainly will.
As multi-screen will keep us all busy. So thanks very much, John, for letting us know.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you.
Thank you.